Uh,
Are we live?
Yeah, you're the podcast.
oh, okay. All right.
It's your podcast.
Hello, everybody. Today, welcome back. We are here with my dad and
Yeah.
my brother. And today, we're going to be talking about probably one of the greatest shows I think that's been out in the last 5 years. Just period. The
Great intro.
Mandalorian.
Great intro.
I'll tell you, it's an honor to be here, Colson. Thanks. I can't believe I finally made the invite list.
Yes.
So I'm
This is
so honored.
it's your debut. It's a
Me
very
too.
Hopefully I don't
Just
screw up and I won't be back again.
yeah. Should be all right, but what do you want to get into first of all? I mean, I figured you have a starting point that you would want to talk about.
Well, we can start with episode 8, and at least there's a couple ways I've seen people do this. I have seen some, listened to some other competing Star Wars podcasts. Sorry, Colson, and you can just make it a free for all, or we can actually talk about the episode chronologically, what happened, and we just kind of remark about it. Do you want to just jump in, or do you want to just kind of walk through the parts of the episode episodically?
I think it's better to. I think chronologically creates a little bit of a flow, and then we
Yes.
can. And then, however we want to diverge from there is where the conversation takes us.
I like it.
I love it. So the first scene, obviously, Mando is being carried away in cuffs by the two troopers.
They looked like Inquisitors, but they weren't Inquisitors. So I don't know what they were.
Well, I think they were the stormtrooper were wearing kind of a Mandalorian type cool new outfit.
Yeah.
They're wearing Beskar alloy.
Yeah.
That's what I think is basically like he kind of just essentially evolved the stormtroopers where like the stormtroopers were made of a bunch of clones and then comes this new stormtrooper that is made of, that has Vaskar armor that's that looks unbeatable, but it stems from a clone that I mean even Moff Gideon decided to clone himself too and got very upset about it when Grogu and Din Djarin ruined his plans.
Now, did you like the Beskar outfits of the stormtroopers? Do you think they're pretty cool?
I think the uniforms were amazing.
Yeah.
Well, even like Moff Gideon looked almost like Darth Vader in a way.
I thought it was great with the way they did that. I think I've done a little bit of research as well. I think so. It seemed like the Beskar alloy is first of all it created more of an even playing field. I thought the actual armor looked good. I think also interestingly, Moff Gideon's it seemed like was more mechanical, seemingly to give him more of an advantage.
Yeah.
Which I liked because it evened the playing field a little bit more because Gideon isn't quite as good of a warrior in terms of sword fighting and things like that. So I liked that.
Well, he's like I feel like it's like I feel like in a way he is a warrior, but like he doesn't have the powers that the best that the most powerful emperors of the dark side have, like the Force, having the combat abilities. He just he knows what to work with, but at the same time he even says it like he wishes he wanted to create a better version of himself that had the Force, that was able to have all these supernatural abilities. So in a way it's like it's kind of one of those things where even the villain, because you look at a lot of like shows, it always has like the good guy is seeking something, he's trying to achieve something, but in this case it's the bad guy that wants to seek something. So it kind of makes the word protagonist have a little bit of a blurry line, which you can still tell it's like good guy bad guy, but there's more to it. There's a more deeper kind of issue that lies within it.
Yeah, I thought Moff Gideon, giving him like the superhuman strength actually made him seem much like a bigger evil bad guy, which was cool. what did you? The first scene. I'll just share a quick reflection. I was surprised in a good way that they were. It was really violent in a good way. Like in Star Wars, they oftentimes it's a bit. Kind of too friendly. And it was a little John Wick like how he killed when he snapped the guy's neck. You don't see that in Star Wars movies.
Very
But
true.
he snapped the guy's neck and he threw a knife and stuck it
Oh yeah.
in the other guy's neck. You don't see that in Star Wars.
The Mandalorian has some gory scenes. Very gory.
I like that. What do you think? Did you like that, Aiden?
I did like, I didn't realize it until you mentioned it, but I did like the actual some of the combat and how it was. I mean, it made it seem more realistic, right? Like the armor,
Yeah.
like the point is in the neck, so naturally a Mandalorian's going to exploit that. The neck, get him in the neck, go for the neck. So I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Well, it even impacted, like, I felt like kind of like an impact when, like, Din Djarin was getting choked by that stormtrooper, and it was like, man, this is getting intense.
Yeah.
And, like, you see, like, someone grab his hand, then they're like, no, 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 no.
Yeah, what did you think about that? Grogu and his robot.
Oh, it's like a perfect evolution.
Yeah.
Of, like, his character. And I mean, dude, we saw it happen. He became an apprentice.
Yeah. No, it was. I thought that was a great scene. Yeah. What did you think? Do you want to go to the next scene? The next scene, they then did the flip over to Boba.
With Bo-Katan, and then we're running.
Yeah, but then they do the scene where she calls him and lets the guy know.
Yeah.
That they're coming, and he flies onto the spaceship.
Yeah, and he gets the reinforcements. Oh, that was amazing. The way, speaking of that, I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself, but the scenes where you see the good, like the reinforcements going down through the hole, then the enemy spaceships like going through the hole the other way. Great cinematography, as to say the least.
Yeah, what do you think of the cinematography in general? What do you think?
It's fantastic.
It was really good. I mean, from Coulson's absolutely right. Especially the air sequences from all the Mandalorians flying in, and fighting the stormtroopers to the burning giant space cruiser coming down. I thought the cinematography was very.
Oh, that was awesome! I forgot about that scene. Yeah, that. Oh my gosh, it just makes for like an epic, like, not even finale, but like. Just an epic way to end the episode.
I mean, it's crazy to think that was a TV show. Like, that was beyond movie. Like, that was like one of the best movie, visuals. And then it was like in a TV show. It's crazy.
Yeah. I was thinking, I was like, I don't know if I told you about this, but like, I was telling somebody about this, is like the fact that you have like Jon Favreau directing it, who's had, and creating the show, who's had multitudes of cinema experience, like, it's almost like he kind of brings that into these TV shows. And I think like with all these directors like starting to move in this new direction, it's kind of, maybe that's why the cinematic elements of TV shows have just gotten that much better.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. I mean, I guess I'll throw this out. Just occurred to me was, a lot of the way there's a little bit of Iron Man in it, because the Mandalorians were flying, and then the Beskar, like the superhuman strength. Do you think Jon Favreau kind of like
he probably did?
He kind of like took some themes from Iron Man.
Probably inspired a little bit. It probably inspired him a little bit.
Yeah, a little inspiration.
Like, I thought it was badass when they flew off the ship and then landed in the planes and then took off in the planes. Like the Mandalorians.
Oh yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. They just landed right in the and it's like traditional like Star Wars playing with the entrance and everything. It's just awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was badass. I thought, to your point, like, it was just that whole sequence, the visuals. It was just amazing. What did you think about the the fact that that guy kind of redeemed himself? He all of a sudden was against Bo-Katan, and now he's back. Axel.
He took one for the team. You there?
Axe Woves. Yeah, that's his name. That's the guy's name. Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a good redemption story. I think it's what was cool about it is that it very much showed I think the good parts of the Mandalorian creed and culture is that he was defeated in battle by
totally agree.
so you earn the respect there, and she had the dark saber to lead them, and so you kind of like it stood true to the creed that they obey, that they are loyal to. So I like that. I like that.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Right.
What did you think about the next scene? You go back to then they go back to the thing and he they had that robot and he's like trying to get the robot to help him, you know, locate the comic 5 unit.
Yeah, that's the thing. They time the comedic elements very well, like or just like lightheartedness. Like again, like when Din Djarin was getting choked and then Grogu steps in, I'm like, oh, it's Grogu in the robot suit. It just brings a smile to my face. So it's like it definitely knows when to time those moments of just getting really intense, building it up, and then like kind of taking a break where it moves a little, it relaxes itself a little bit. Which that's good balance.
Yeah, I thought you were right, spot on. Like it didn't seem forced and very natural. Like I would maintain in the trilogies that I hate, all the comedy seemed forced. Here it just seemed very.
Yeah, and also they kind of do give little like nods to old Star Wars about like how the droids are kind of do help like R2D and in certain moments where they're in a pinch to do something to help the mission. And I thought that was I liked it. I thought it was cool.
I'm gonna close it.
Apologies for the disturbance. Could you repeat that one more time?
Finn had nothing.
Consent.
Clearly, Finn hasn't done his research. I was saying, yeah. I think I like. I don't know. I liked how they kind of do it. They've kind of done it throughout Star Wars. Like the droids like help in some way when they're in a pinch, when the main characters are in a pinch, and it was kind of I liked how, I don't know. It was just a nice little continuation. It wasn't
exactly,
mushy, but
it reminded me of like all like what literally what R2D2 would do.
Yeah, I thought that was a good scene. Then the next scene obviously was a very interesting scene where he then confronts the Star Troopers, right? And they had the gates. What'd you think of that scene? Where R2 helped him through the gates.
Yeah. Oh, that was brilliant.
I loved it.
Brilliant. Yeah. And oh my god! So I didn't get though. Like, I mean, he didn't want to be discovered, but like, it is kind of weird. I was like afraid of those like remote control cars that were coming by.
Oh, you're talking about the R5, yeah.
Yeah.
But you were gonna say something, Aiden. You thought the scene?
It was probably, and it kind of hit true to home because I mean, it probably was where I fell in love with Star Wars. It was the Darth Maul sequence with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. And I think it was the first or second episode where they kind of had Qui-Gon like pauses and does his meditation, calms himself. And then the barriers break and then they start fighting again. It was an homage to that, and I thought that was like that was phenomenal in my opinion.
I totally agree. It was. I think it was. That's I was reading some things online. They said it was kind of homage to that scene. I thought it was phenomenal, because you have that tension and then it stops, and the tension and then it stops. Yeah.
Yeah. It is just phenomenal. It's like, and then that's the thing. Is like I feel like I don't know. To me, like I felt like the last trilogy of the Star Wars universe just didn't appreciate the old movies. Well,
I think that should be one of our topics. Why this is so much better than this recent one.
Yeah. Why this should be the real canon Star Wars.
to your point, Aiden, like I thought it created like phenomenal tension, and he's like, R5 next, next one,
Next shield.
Next shield.
and then
He said,
R5 would be like doing some comedy thing, and then it's back, and he's like in this serious,
Literally, yeah. Yeah, so
yeah, between like comedy and then like intense, violent fights.
yeah.
that is true. Balancing that has got to be tight. Walking that has got to be so difficult. And I thought they did it pretty freaking well. Pretty well.
The comedy never took away from the violence. You could still laugh, even though he was like stabbing people in the neck.
Yeah, it was like, it was action, and then it was like, wait, boom, next one, wait, boom, next one, wait, boom, next one.
Yeah. And then and the thing is, like, he had no weapons before he walked into shields. He literally you just see this buildup of him just getting more and more weapons as he keeps breaking through.
I thought that was great.
Great point. I forgot about that.
There's actually one scene where he grabbed the knife and then he threw it at the guy and the guy fell over the cliff or into the thing before he could grab the knife off.
Awesome. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's just like, and it's just like it. I don't know how to say it, but it's just the perfect way about doing those types of things. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah, that was a great scene. They had like the side scene then about Bo-Katan goes down into that cavern and sees some plant life. I don't know if you want to talk about that, Cole, since your podcast, but that was I don't know. That was like one scene before they then went back to the real action scenes.
Yeah, no, I thought, well, overall, just cutting to different. I mean, it kind of started. It was crazy how like it started from them running away from Moff Gideon, who pretty much owned the entire planet, to them finding this like underground lost civilization, and it's like kind of, again, like you talk about like the intensity, they build it up, and then like it keeps getting built up, and then it's like, oh, there's a garden.
Yeah, and I assume they're going to place in the future of Mandalorians that they're going to basically revitalize Mandalore now they've got all the plants. But after that, then the scene went back to, the ships had come down and the Bo-Katan forces were joining the other reinforcements, and they, did that whole like group of Mandalore going into battle against the stormtroopers. What'd you think of those scenes? Yeah,
Just reminds me of old Star Wars in a sense. Like, I mean, it's different that the fact that like the Mandalorians are a literal army, but it just hits home. Like you were saying, it just hits home.
I thought it was great, and I do wonder if it was an inspiration from Tony Stark in that way. But the thing that I thought was cool, actually, now that I'm thinking, is that battle scene with because they all have jetpacks. All the Mandalorians have jetpacks and can fly. It's a unique battle scene to their kind.
yeah.
Like you can't which I think it was cool that they played on that strength of being able to do that. And I think, as Colson, as you said, it created great cinematography. Phenomenal.
The visuals were incredible. Seeing like all those like flying in with the dark saber flying in, it was badass. All in the fighting was badass.
The armor hitting multiple stormtroopers with the hammers. With the hammers.
I thought that was like, well, we'll come back to that. I'm going to ask you, do you think that was one of the top 5 Star Wars battle scenes? So come back. That'll be one of the questions at the end, topics to discuss.
We'll come back to that.
But I thought that was a phenomenal battle scene. Unbelievable. So while the battle scene's going on there, then Din goes into the clone room and you find out what the
10 Moff Gideons.
You found out finally what he was trying to do. What did you think of that scene? What was going on in your head? I'll tell you what was going on in my head.
I mean, he's trying to do what they did back in the day. He's like I guess like since they're literally trying to revitalize the Empire, they're going to use similar tactics. Like, but in this case, it's evolved where he's not just trying to make these troopers actually be able to like. I mean, not just the troopers, but himself. He's not trying to make these guys like super efficient at shooting and combat, like having the ability to go have hand to hand combat. No, he's trying to have these guys have the Force, and that if everybody has like, and that's literally that is interesting. Like, if the Force can be scientific, then the Star Wars universe is going to change.
Well, I'll throw some geek out at you, but this is actually something that Star Wars has kind of created in the Star Wars canon is this thing called midichlorians, which is actually in Star Wars canon they've actually identified the gene that creates Force, and they can measure it. So now the theory is obviously take that gene and put it into clones. But yeah. So it is there is a genetic predisposition you have to have the Force according to the Star Wars canon. Boy, was that geeky!
But that's but literally, well, actually, the thing is though, it is pretty geeky, but it actually applies to real life though, because if you essentially it's like gene editing, which is going to be a big part of our American society in 5 to 10 years. So. If only it's pretty much relatable at that point because like this is going to be a thing. Like, we are going to basically have supernatural abilities in our kids going forward because we're able to literally program how our bodies are created. So that's the other geeky kind of my geeky thing.
I'm gonna tell you, like when I was in that scene, I immediately went back to thinking like, okay, this is what the last 3 years they've been trying to do with Grogu. When in season 1, I thought it was the necromancer angle, that they were trying to recreate Palpatine. That the reason they wanted Grogu was to recreate Palpatine, which I don't know if you caught that in one of the. Well, we'll talk about the episodes, but one of the episodes talked about this thing called necromancer.
Yeah,
which I think is going to be that storyline, but it turns out he didn't want it he actually didn't like, he didn't like Palpatine. He just wanted the powers himself, which I thought was kind of great. That bad guys can't trust each other.
Oh, it's
good point.
It's the imperial way of thinking. It like in terms of
like F you, Palpatine.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not giving Palpatine the powers I want for myself.
I'm going to create 10 of me, and they're all going to have crazy Force powers. I love the idea.
Exactly. That's what I saw it like literally, like that, when that was the case, like when I saw that, I was like, this is, it's ridiculous, but it's like, I don't know, it's happening at the same time. Yeah, and Palpatine already has too much power. This dude can shoot lightning out of his fingers. Like, Palpatine does not need any more power.
Dad is right about the metachlorian stuff, by the way. I know that because that's how they found out that Anakin was special, because his metachlorian count was higher than Yoda's when they first
go. You're yes, Padawan. You've got the Force.
You've mastered the ways, Padawan.
Well, I'm shaking your head. All right, so then they go from that scene, and then surprisingly, Moff Gideon is pissed off that Din killed all of
his clothes. I mean, I'd be mad too. I'm trying to create an army, and this dude just walks in and destroys everything. Oh.
So they get into a battle. What'd you think of that battle? The Din.
Well, I was gonna say first the Bo-Katan, which I think was better in my opinion, since she had to use the dark saber.
Well, at first, remember there was a first. If you remember
Well, no, because the guards capture Din, and Grogu is I forgot I don't think, because they weren't dueling yet, but like Din was basically captured by either Moff Gideon or his soldiers, but then they started going after Grogu in that room, and then Bo-Katan came in to save him.
Yeah, I believe the sequencing is that he first had this mini battle with Gideon, and then Bo-Katan flew in, and then he went off, as you said, to fight
to save Grogu. Yeah.
Well, why don't we talk, instead of each individual aspect, what do you think about that whole thing? The Din fighting the Torian guards with Grogu, and then Bo-Katan fighting that
It
battle
was all
scene.
kind of together, anyways. It was it
Yeah,
flowed a lot. I agree. We can
Yeah.
kind of just talk about all of it.
It was
I
like one
agree.
after the other.
yeah, I totally agree. I'm still trying to figure out what the Praetorian Guard's powers are. Like,
Do they have any
do they
powers?
have any powers?
Well, that's the thing is because actually, if you remember it, I saw this YouTube video. Actually, Snoke's Praetorian guards actually had the Force a
Wow.
bit,
This is
and
geeky, man. Yeah, you're right. And these guys didn't.
they
What happened?
gave
Yeah.
Rey a tough time. But the question is, did Snoke's guards did he have the best ones? And these Praetorian guards were like mid tier.
Mid-tier Praetorian Guards.
Which is
Yeah.
That or it could be yeah.
now that I know that.
Yeah. Well, that it could be that, but I also was thinking about like how with the Obi-Wan show, how Obi-Wan, since he's hiding for 10 plus years, he essentially loses a lot of his powers. So what if they literally after maybe 50, 60 years they just lost their power?
I think they were
there's
different.
no question they lose their power wanes over time. Obviously, they have to be on. He.
I think though what was interesting, yeah. So I kind of rate them as like they didn't have the Force because also you'd think they would have used it when Grogu was kind of like I think they're just really good at combat.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like some Star Wars fans were annoyed because the Praetorian Guards are supposed to be great at combat. Like, how did Din and Grogu defeat? Like, how did Din really defeat 3 when they're supposed to be this thing? But I kind of took it as Grogu was messing him up enough that where Din
Yeah.
was able to hand. Like, I mean, there were multiple times where Din was going to get killed by them, and then Grogu would just kind of like stop them from slicing his neck or stop him
Yeah.
from grabbing a weapon. And so I kind of took it as that, which I thought was good.
Yeah, I like the interplay with Grogu and kind of saving Din, and I also like the battle with Bo-Katan and Moff Gideon. I like Moff Gideon having the superpowers. The super strength. What did you think of obviously kind of the whole ending to that with the fire
Oh, sick.
and then the force bubble? What did you think of that?
Sick.
I thought it was cool because I mean, if you're thinking about how Beskar alloy is, it could potentially be stronger than regular Beskar. Then you kind of think like, oh, it's going to take a lot to kill Moff Gideon, and I thought it was really cool. It was cool how he was engulfed in flames, and this is. I think Dad knows this, and I think Colson, because you've seen Star Wars Rebels, you
Yeah.
will now know. Kanan
Yeah.
stopped at the end. Stopped the Ghost crew, like Ezra and all them, from being killed by using the Force to stop the flames, and Grogu
Yeah.
did the same here, which I didn't realize until I saw something about it. But I think it's for sure intentional. For sure
Yeah.
intentional.
Like a callback to the Rebels.
Yeah.
So I must admit, I actually got teary eyed. Didn't expect it, and when Grogu was doing the flames, I was teary eyed.
It made me think of. Yeah.
Son
Hey,
saving his
if it
dad,
happens to you,
guys.
they're doing something
Son
right.
saving his dad. You guys saving
Yes.
son saving the dad, and arguably kind of Bo-Katan's kind of his mom. So
Yeah, I can't tell like what's gonna happen with Din Djarin and Bo-Katan if they're like kind of a thing, if they're not. I don't know, but that's for like I guess a different time.
it could be another topic. Is there a romantic thing?
I don't know. I assume, but I have no idea.
I was gonna kiss her with his helmet.
Both have their helmet on.
That is a good point. I don't know how that would work. I have no idea.
So, but that scene I thought was like a phenomenal scene. Like they played the music, the soft music of like he's saving the day with the flames, doing the force bubble,
It literally reminded me of like some Yoda stuff. Like this is the type of shit Yoda would do.
It shows you how strong he's gotten.
He's been strong. I like
getting stronger
from the beginning. I think he like literally in my mind he was one of the raw. He had probably one of the most rawest power in terms of raw power. He was one of the most powerful in the Mandalorian universe.
Yeah, I'm sure they're all thinking like, "Wow, this kid's gonna be crazy strong." Demar. So, how did you like? I guess just the last ending. You had. You remember you had like pieces where they named him his son. He went off and
Good.
now's a bounty hunter, and then he has his own thing. And Bo-Katan now is heading it. What did you think of that whole thing?
They reignited the Great Forge, like the flame or whatever. I think that's what it was supposed to symbolize. I'm pretty sure. I thought it was cool how like when Grogu had like used the Force and like could sense the Mythosaur and Grogu could both kind of
Oh
sense
yeah,
each
that's a great scene. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah.
like the Mythosaur kind of like bellows like because he senses Grogu's presence.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be an important thing future seasons. Yeah, the fact that the Minosaur, Grogu.
He's gonna ride it. He's gonna be the first one. He's gonna be the first one.
He is a foundling, so.
Bo-Katan, but I think you're gonna be right. I think it's gonna be Grogu. So, is your money on Grogu or Bo-Katan?
Probably. Oh, I think like Grogu. The thing is like because the Mandalorians like they went on this purge and like they once were friends. That like them and the Mythosaurs were once friends. Then they went on this purge, so it's like almost the Mandalorians kind of stabbed them in the back. They feel like I felt like. So like I feel like the Mythosaur would probably not be too friendly with a lot of the Mandalorians since they essentially almost killed their entire species. But like with Grogu, it's like he's kind of like on the outside looking in. So I feel like since he's not really a part of this conflict in a way, like the Mythosaur and Grogu are just going to be like best buds.
That'd be my vote. Well, that's the episode. Any final comments? We can talk about just the whole season as a whole without going to all the specifics. But and your thoughts around the
Yeah, that was just one episode.
First episode, I'd say the episode I thought overall really good. I mean, I think like there was part of like I remember there were multiple moments. Like I think some Star Wars fans are being a bit harsh with I thought it was really good. Because I mean the fact that there are multiple moments where I'm just like I literally said it out loud. I was watching it by myself. I said it out loud. I was like, wow, this is so good. And I was kind of like moving in my I was like, wow. Just multiple wow moments.
Yeah. Well, it's like the problem is there's so much like expectation from the later episodes in the third season. It's just so good that I mean, even the first couple episodes are like they're still like kind of building up things, so it's a little I guess slow, but like. Yeah, the problem is you got the last couple episodes that are just phenomenal. It's like you can't really even if it's a great episode, you just can't compete with like probably one of the best couple episode runs in like almost a decade, in my opinion.
I would agree. Would you say this is one of your favorite shows ever?
This has got to be one of my favorite show. Yeah. Favorite, yeah, probably one of. It's definitely one of my favorite shows of this decade and the decade before it. I think like the problem was in the early 2000s and the 90s there were some great shows. So I don't know how much I could put it. I still love I love The Mandalorian, but there are other shows I love too that I'll still put it at like top 5.
Aiden, where does it fit in your top 5 overall shows?
I think I gotta put it in top 5. I mean, if you think about other shows, I mean, if you think about the consistency, like I mean, like of the whole show, and I and how I actually liked. I think they got a little bit more. They got a little bit away from Grogu, but to get more in depth into the Star Wars universe.
Yeah,
And
which I
the Mandalorians in general.
thought it was a risk that they took to do that, but I thought I think people like us were rewarded for
It
that.
paid off in the end.
yeah. I was reading some reviews, and for the most part, it was phenomenal reviews. But the negative ones kind of said, well, the whole point of the show is a relation between Grogu and Mandalorian and Din, and they said that what they didn't like was they kind of got away from it for most of the season. But on the flip side, to your point, they did that so they could build this big world. You know, the Mandalore takeover. They did those world building, which adds to the show, takes it to another level. And then they'll come back at the end, and the final episode was a lot about Din and Grogu. So I thought they did manage to build this massive world, and they're still furthering the father-son story. So.
But the thing is, like, what made, at least like from what I saw, like, what made Jaws so good was the fact that you didn't see the shark that often. Like, the shark came in very little, and it built up this intensity, and that's what made the shark so good. And the same with the Mandalorian, like, showing less is kind of better in a way, where when you have those moments, they're more impactful because you don't get them that often.
Yeah, totally agree.
And also just focusing on the Mandalorian universe in general. It's something I did want to see. Like, I did not know, like, we didn't really know a lot about, like, the actual Mandalorian culture and all this until literally season 3.
Do you think people that didn't see Rebels or Clone Wars, that maybe was part of the reason they didn't appreciate the goal?
Without doubt.
I totally agree.
It's the non-geeks out there.
No meaning to them. Bo-Katan has no meaning to them.
Yeah,
that's true.
Like, one of the greatest stories is her character arc. You know,
that it's a main part. It's one of the parts of the season.
But like, you hadn't seen Rebels or Clone Wars, you're like, oh, it's just some woman shows up and now she's, court. But they didn't know that, she was part of the Death Watch. She rebelled against her sister. She was a redemption story. Yeah.
Worked with Darth Maul.
Yeah, worked with Darth Maul. Exactly.
She was, honestly, if you think about it, she was the perfect character to kind of take the mantle of.
Yeah, I know some people were upset. Like, should have been Din that was going to lead Mandalore.
I wouldn't have. I at first I was a little bit like, oh, it's not going to be Din, but I was like, I can't be mad about, because she has the bloodline, she has the history.
Yeah,
it makes more sense.
She's prepared to rule really too.
Does
yeah, Din's been living in a fucking. He's been living in a sorry audience.
We're not to the non-family friendly. Not to the
non-family. He's been living in like a.
How does he? Yeah, literally. Like, he's just been. He hasn't been staying in one place. He's been moving around.
What is that?
He's been living in a spaceship, the Razor Crest, for like 10 years, and then before that, like he was an orphan before that.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ready to run a world yet.
Yeah.
But he's got that cabin in Navarro, so it's like he's got his own life.
He's not ready.
That's his personality. That was a what'd you think about the happy ending at the end? Did you like it? At the end,
I did. I think this is where this is completely, all hypothetical about where we think the show will go. Because season 4, I've heard, has been written, and that they've already done some scenes of season 4, but it can go so many different ways, because you have Grogu using the Force at the end, so that means, does he continue to learn the Force?
Yeah.
You have Grogu and the Mythosaur. You have Mandalorians revitalizing Mandalore, and you have Din doing bounty hunter stuff again.
Yeah.
You have so many different directions where the Mandalorian can go.
I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
Do you think Moff Gideon is dead? You think he died, actually?
I can't.
I think he's dead. I think he's dead. And the other thing is
nobody.
Yeah, nobody.
That is true. If Maul somehow lived, I guess I don't know.
That's true.
Dude, Maul's died like 5 times, and he's still alive.
I was reading. So they announced the Star Wars movies. There's 3 of them, and one is going to be done by Filoni. And the rumor has it they're going to pull Ahsoka. Like all these are kind of like almost like the Avengers. It's all building towards the movie. So they've got Ahsoka. They've got Skeleton Crew, which is now a new one, and then they've got Mandalorian. It's all going to build towards a
Star Wars Avengers,
like a big climactic Infinity War type end. Which
actually, there is like an Infinity.
That's John Favreau. It's like John Favreau. John Favreau.
He probably would do that. Yeah, I can see that.
He's taking the best of Marvel. Yeah.
But life hasn't been the same since Avengers Endgame, since Infinity War, since it ended. I need a new buildup of 18, 20 years. I need a new project.
Yes, they're building all these 3 shows into this final movie. Yeah.
We need a bunch of super people fighting.
I trust Favreau and Filoni. I trust these guys. Even I was skeptical. Remember, in the season when they did the Doctor.
That one fluke. Apologies for the language. One fluke episode.
Yeah, you and I are like.
Well, that's the thing. I genuinely, and this is my theory. I 90% think in my mind that Jon Favreau had nothing to do with that episode. Maybe I could be wrong, but I don't want to believe it.
Yeah, I was a little worried there, but.
I want to toot my own horn, but I told you I was like, you got I said patience, Padawan. You gotta respect a guy a show that obviously ties in main plots, but also kind of has little tie-ins to the side plots and branches of where the rest of the stories go, and you kind of have to. You have to respect a show that also ties in the little subplots as well. I thought that was cool with the clones. I thought that was cool.
Well, the fact that she and it did kind of build up in a way to where she was working for the New Republic, but it turns out she's a double agent. And I mean I would that would have been great, but that could have been her going through that whole spiel with the New Republic. That could have been done 5-10 minutes. That did not need to be a whole episode.
Totally agree. Totally.
And with the scientists and everything, again, it did pay off in the end because she's telling him about all their coordinates and stuff, telling Moff Gideon about all their coordinates, but it did not need to be a whole episode.
So, Mr. Host, you want to, where do you want to talk about just the topics that are family friendly topics? Or do you want to keep talking about the episodes? Do it. At some point, we want to bring in our lovely fan to talk about
our spectator and
the family, the other topics of the family.
I'd say quick. You two give me a review of the series. Give me a quick review, if you can, a quick summation of what you thought.
Whole series, or just season 3
of the series? I mean, season 3.
Actually, I guess it's both. It's a great show. I think there's so many, and this is the thing is it's actually kind of what I've been thinking about just in general. It's a lot of shows, they'll try to do spin-offs, or they'll try to do kind of incorporate other things into the canons of their shows, but very few of them actually turn out good. This turned out amazing. So besides literally a fluke here and there, it's one of the, I can't say it's near perfect, but it's almost near perfect.
I would agree. I'd give 9.5 out of 10 lightsabers. I think I loved the show in season 1, season 2. Season 3 took it a whole new level, and I love the world building. It just seems like such a bigger world now. It seemed like they just took it to a whole new
They completely expanded it, yeah.
And they still kept, I think, the essence of 1 and 2, still the father-son relationship, but they built the whole massive world.
So, yeah, they kind of,
yeah.
I mean, they kind of deviated that to build this world. Like they kind of deviated away from that to make this world, and now like you were saying, they have a million different directions they could go in. So it literally now we're gonna have to find out what happens.
Yeah, like I've got so many big answers. You mentioned like 3 or 4 of them, and I want to know who's going to ride the mythosaur. There's like so many big.
It's gonna be interesting.
There's so many big unknown questions. Like the whole Grogu, he's turning into like a Mandalorian, and he's got the Force.
Yeah, is he a Jedi? Is he a Mandalorian? Like, and even like in Boba Fett, they went into this. It's still hard to tell. But I mean, he's kind of just walking the line right now. But I'm actually surprised though, because I thought if he were to become an apprentice, I thought he'd have to give up. He'd have to give up. He'd have to give up the Jedi lifestyle. But it seems like that's the opposite of the case. Like they're gonna try to. I forget what they're gonna do now. I mean, he's gonna obviously Din Djarin's gonna do bounty stuff, but I think they're gonna try to find Grogu's family and who.
Oh, that's another one. Oh, and they still have to figure out the backstory with Grogu too. They haven't figured out that like in Order 66, we got a little bit of that as well.
66.
As you said, maybe we will find out his family when he end up. There's so much backstory on him.
Exactly, and it's only like again, like they only went into like the true in my opinion, they only really went into the true Mandalorian backstory in this season.
Yeah.
Like I mean, they touched on it a few times, like here and there, but like this was like they expanded the world. We got to see a lot of Mandalore. Like it, like it kind of explored that universe. So maybe this next one's gonna be focused on. Who knows what it's gonna be focused on? But this is what's interesting. Is like how does somebody not leak this stuff out? Like how do they keep all this secret? Is my question. I don't know how they do it.
I know somehow they kept Luke's secret. That was the biggest.
That was crazy.
But you keep that.
That's what everyone was saying. It's like how did they keep that a secret?
How would you rate it in the series?
I would say I think 9.2 out of 10 lightsabers. I think was I really did enjoy it. I mean, like not even anything I can complain about. Like it was better than I thought it was better than the other 2 seasons. I mean, the cinematography to the storytelling to the action, like I mean, there's nothing that you can look at where you're like, oh, okay. The only thing is maybe I want but the thing is like the series isn't over. Like I want to see more Grogu, like and kind of develop that Jedi. But that's all preference. Like I loved them retaking Mandalore. That was a monumental thing, and I love that aspect of this season.
That's actually interesting you brought it up. It's like and the thing is like with a bunch of the different directions that they're gonna go in, it like part of it is like a bunch of people would prefer one of those directions. Like different people prefer the different directions, but like you said about Mandalore, like they in a sense they had to rebuild Mandalore. Like that was a thing like that was like you have to do that. But yeah, especially with, like in a show like that with their culture and everything. So it's just it's going to be interesting to see what happens next season and what gets like kind of what needs to go in the show and what can kind of be like this can go in this direction just because like not even based off preference but more just where they want to take the show.
So, Mr. Host, you want to have like a couple of questions I came up with for the, and then we can wrap up, and then we'll bring in the guest.
Do it. Let's do it.
All right. So, I came up with one was top 5 battle scenes. But what are your top 5 Star Wars battle scenes? Did that make it? The one with all the
I mean, number one, we all know what it is. I mean, come on. Jar Jar Binks. Come on. We know.
It was the Ewok scene. You wanted the Ewok battle.
That one I still like. That one still holds up. That one I watched it. I watched it last year. It still holds up.
Annie, in 5 minutes we'll bring you in. All right, get ready. So what's your top five? The Ewoks? You do have the top five? Wow.
I like it. It's sentimentality. I like it. Well, like, all right, do lightsaber battles count, or is it just
Yeah,
like
it's all fight scenes, yeah.
all fight scenes? Oh, in all of Star Wars. I mean, all right, of all the Star Wars movies and this series, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of material. That's what I'm saying.
Darth Maul, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan. That whole sequence has to be up there.
That is a great sequence, yeah. Because the dual lightsaber was freaking badass when he was like Darth Maul. Yeah.
I got my 5.
I'd say, you know what, Colson, you go first because I need more time. Colson, you go.
Right.
Go on.
I think I gotta still figure out the numbers, but this is it for now, like in order. But obviously, Obi-Wan Anakin, number 1.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You're my brother, Anakin.
You're my brother.
And you destroy the Sith, not join them.
It's over, Anakin.
I have the high ground.
You are underestimated. Do not underestimate my powers.
The most quotable. Also bad.
It is a very quote. It's funny because like they're fighting and then they like stop for a second to drop like a gem of a line and then they start fighting again.
You were supposed to bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness.
Not cast it in darkness. Oh, quality.
Okay, give me your run. Run.
Yeah, good person. I forgot about that. That's a great one.
That's the one I thought of immediately when you thought of fights. When I think of fight scenes, Star Wars. But yeah, Obi-Wan Anakin, Emperor Palpatine Yoda. Okay. I love that fight scene. It's so good. Like it's not like as like, but it's like you got the two most powerful people in the Star Wars universe going head to head.
They're both doing lectures to each other,
and they're both doing. And then they like fall down that whole pit, and it's like, or like they fall down the whole. I don't even know like that building, but they yeah, like it's just great. I love it. But yeah.
Emperor Palpatine get up from his desk? I'm kidding.
How does Emperor Palpatine have a desk?
Keep going.
Yeah. Anyway, and then 3. I had to put. There was one more fight scene. Darth Vader and the Emperor. Like when he gets thrown off that bridge and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that one. I mean, you could put like, Anakin and Darth Vader in the fight scene, but like that, I don't know. I love it, but like I don't think it can make it up there. But yeah, so Obi-Wan Anakin, Darth Vader, or Yoda Palpatine, Vader Palpatine, Obi-Wan Darth Vader in Obi-Wan show. I like that fight scene.
Oh, you like that one? Okay.
I really like that fight scene. And then number 5 is Mando fight scene.
All right, maybe the top 5. I thought you had phenomenal suggestions. The other one, that one scene about Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. I didn't like how Obi-Wan was so powerful.
Yeah, that was the only thing. But it's like it's so cool though how he lifted those rocks. Like I don't know, it's ridiculous, but like I loved it.
All right, you want your top 5? Or you want me to go?
Run them off.
You want me to go my top 5? Or you want to your top 5?
You run them off. I got a couple more.
All right, so you guys sold me. I didn't think of it at the time. You're absolutely right. The Anakin Obi-Wan scene was definitely probably number 1. I didn't think. I'll tell you what went to my head was, and this could be just because at the time I was a young Padawan, and Empire Strikes Back really is what pulled me into Star Wars. Empire Strikes Back.
I was thinking about that.
So I don't know how much of it is because the scenes were so great, or just like so tied in, but the one scene, believe it or not, the Hoth scene, we'll be in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The Hoth scene was really important. This will be the last one, then we'll bring in the Hoth scene was really important, big to me. Darth Vader fighting Luke Skywalker was really important. I would put the Darth Maul Qui-Gon one was really stellar in Mandalore. That's one. Go ahead.
Ooh, okay. I hate to say it's not going to make my top 5. But the thing is, there's so many that go into it because I also think of like iconic and also like I like the. See, the thing is, I like the Darth Vader Luke scene, but I don't love it. Obi-Wan and Anakin, I absolutely totally forgot about that one. Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul. Underrated one, I think, was Darth Maul and Kanan in Star Wars Rebels. I like that one.
Oh, see, that's the thing. I thought about doing By the way, the Palpatine and Darth Maul fight scene was also really good.
Yeah,
I would love
In Clone Wars.
I would love to see an episode that Rebels one with the Dark Sith Temple in real live action. That would be incredible. Yeah.
I think that was one of the best Star Wars episodes out of any series. It's
Yeah.
up there. It is up there.
Great fight scene.
I think 3. I think there was one. Colson, what else did you say? I'm trying to remember.
Which, like, for my top 5?
Yeah.
So I had.
Oh, okay. You want Doku and Anakin, in my opinion, when he slices his head off in front of Palpatine.
Yeah.
I like that one. I think 4. I think I'd probably go. I like the Darth Vader. I like the Darth Vader one with Palpatine. That one's decent. I'd probably put Loki. I think I'd put Ahsoka and Maul at the end of Star Wars Rebels. That's a hot take.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Even
That's
her.
a hot.
Yeah. Even her with Darth Vader was a really good fight scene.
And number 5, I think the whole sequence with Mace Windu, Anakin, and Palpatine. I think I like that whole sequence. Palpatine's begging for his life, air quotes around that, and then Anakin cuts off Windu's hands, and then Palpatine finishes him off. I like that. Really dark, but really good.
I'll throw one more out there. The Battle of Coruscant I thought was pretty good with all the spaceships. The beginning, where they're flying at the beginning of the Revenge of the Sith.
Oh yeah. Also, so I mean, there's so many. If we're talking about air, like in the air, you got to look at the original Star Wars ones, like where they're destroying the Death Star, or Rogue One. Also, like that. Rogue One was good, man. Too. No, not gonna lie.
Good.
All right, to wrap up. Mom wants to.
I was gonna say, Phantom Menace is one that is like kind of the one that Star Wars fans kind of shit on a little bit, but it's still, I think still that's a decent movie. But yeah, so anyway, it is good talking with both of you. And yeah, let us know if you want more podcast episodes, I guess, if we want to do one in the future. And yeah, you guys got anything you want to say before we close this out?
All I can say is, may the force be with you.
More material we have.
Oh, you know how we should end it? This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.